one of the things that just filled me with sheer pleasure was Tuesday when this pig bastard Henry Tarrio was sentenced to 22 years in prison. You know, the leader of the Proud Pricks, that group of little pretend soldiers who led the attack on the U.S. Capitol and consequently on democracy. Now, prosecutors had asked for 33 years, but the judge settled on 22 years. The guy will be ready to get his Social Security when he gets out of prison. I think he's in his 30s now, right? Asshole. What an asshole. Now, he's been in jail since his arrest last year, and when he was convicted by a D.C. jury on multiple charges. Or no, that was something different. He was convicted by the jury here this year on charges that included seditious conspiracy. And like his co-defendants in the case, the jurors didn't convict this little prick on every count he faced at the time, but they convicted him on enough that he'll spend the next 22 years, I don't know, probably trying to organize terrorists in prison, which a lot of these useless son of a bitches do once they go to prison. His co-defendant in the case, Ethan Nordine, was sentenced last week to 18 years. Other members of this group of little piss ants received between 10 and 17 years. And the judge in this, Timothy Kelly, it's my understanding, he was a Trump appointee, confirmed by the Senate, as they all are. Come on, Mike. But what did I hear? Lawrence O'Brien the other night on The Last Word on MSNBC, he said in sentencing these pricks, Judge Kelly had ended his or brought his career in the judiciary to a plateau, that it will be impossible for him to advance, this judge. Even if a Democratic president nominates him for a higher position, like an appellate court judge or a Supreme Court judge, he would have to get confirmed by the terrorists that have infiltrated the U.S. Senate. And presently, there are 40-some terrorists who claim to be United States senators who are nothing more than scum bastards themselves. So Timothy Kelly showed a lot of courage and a lot of sacrifice to his judicial career when he sentenced this asshole Henry Tarrio. What a, and when he has his baseball hat off and his sunglasses off, he looks like somebody you might see pushing a grocery cart in a I don't know, a Best Buy or something, or not a Best Buy, but a Walmart, buying disposable Pampers. I mean, what a little jack-off. He really is. But when he puts on those sunglasses and all his quasi-military garb and his backward baseball hat, ooh, looks tough, motherfucker. Man, I am tough. Look at my beard. Look at me. Look at this AR-15. Look at my hand grenades. Look at my canteen, huh? I'm something. Am I not something? Everybody said, I'm something. Asshole. As the prosecutors described, this jackoff was the primary organizer of the conspiracy to try to end democracy and nullify 80 fucking million votes in this country for Joe Biden. And according to the judge, Henry, this little asshole, used his influence, quote, to condone and promote violence in others. He was a general rather than a soldier. And that was the answer to anybody who said, well, but our dear leader, Enrique, was not even in D.C. on January 6th. No, he wasn't. He was the field marshal running everything from a hideaway, where, in Virginia? And the thing is, this was not an instantaneous event, as some of these pricks tried to make it out to be. After the presidential election in November 2020, and this is according to evidence presented at the trial, Henry began posting on social media and in these Nazi message groups about a civil war. And later he threatened no Trump, no peace, no quarter. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, that's such ballsy talk there, Henry. Bastard, go push your cart in Walmart. Ooh, ooh. No Trump, no peace, no quarter. Ooh, ooh. Oh, you are such a man, you little shit. And if you remember, and I know we all try to forget, capitalism tries to make us forget, but his co-defendants, this jackass Nordine and Joe Biggs and Zachary Rell and Dominic Pizzola, they got together with other members of this clique of little cowardly bastards called the Proud Boys on the day of the riot and marched toward the Capitol, the thump, the thump, the thump, the thump, the thump, interfering with police and ultimately forcing entry into the building where Congress was trying to do its constitutional duty. Jesus Christ. And Henry wrote on social media during the riot, according to evidence presented at the trial, and this put his balls in a vice. He wrote on social media, quote, "Make no mistake, we did this." Yeah, you did. You ugly little fucker. Yeah, you did. Now what you really did was put your ass 22 years in prison. And wouldn't you know it, he had his wife and his mother and his daughter, all the ladies in his family, show up at the trial and beg for mercy. Oh, please, please don't do this to our daddy. Actually, it wasn't his wife. It was his fiancée. I don't think anybody would marry this asshole. But they asked the judge for leniency. Please look past Henry's actions and rhetoric. Please, please. Ah! And I heard some reports that Henry himself cried just a bit when the judge was admonishing him. It's my understanding the judge went on for like 45 minutes with his statement to this asshole. Anyway, the prosecutor, Connor Mulrow, said in court right before the sentencing, quote, "Tarrio was the leader of this conspiracy. He was on a tier of his own. The defendant and his co-conspirators targeted our entire system of government," end quote. And the prosecutor also said that this little prick and his Proud Boy defendants were a, quote, tidal wave of force as the attack began and played a pivotal role in the violence on January 6th. And the prosecutor added this, and thank God this became a matter of record. The prosecutor said, quote, "They came so close to succeeding. There was a very real possibility that we were going to wake up on January 7th in a full-blown constitutional crisis with the federal government in complete chaos," end quote. Well, Henry himself begged for leniency before the judge. He said he was sorry for the events of January 6th. Not sorry that they were events he designed and caused. And he apologized to law enforcement and D.C. residents. He added this, Henry did. Quote, "The citizens of D.C. deserve better. What happened on January 6th was a national embarrassment." What the fuck kind of a statement is that? It wasn't an embarrassment, you little prick. It was the act of an insane, cowardly little nutcase like yourself who thought you were a big man. Crybaby little son of a bitch, stand in front of the judge with your women in your family. "Oh, please, judge, don't put him in prison." Henry told the judge that he'd been angry. "I was angry because my boy, Donnie the Trump, lost the election. He was angry. I wonder how you're going to feel, Henry, after maybe 5 years in prison. Okay, 10, maybe 15. How about 20? Son of a bitch. He also added, Henry did, quote, to the men and women of law enforcement who answered the call that day, I am sorry. No, you're not. Would you be saying this, you son of a bitch, if your little group of terrorists had somehow intimidated Mike Pence? Huh? And then he said this before the judge. This is according to published reports. He said, quote, I am not a political zealot. No, you're an asshole. Inflicting harm or changing the results of the election was not my goal. Well, what the fuck was it then, Henry? What do you mean it wasn't your goal? That was specifically your goal. And then he added, please show me mercy. Yeah, you got your mercy. You know what your mercy is, Henry, you little shit? Your mercy is that you were not taken out and put up against a wall and had about 10 goddamn 30 caliber bullets put into your wasted, useless body. Jesus Christ, you got your mercy, pal. 22 years in prison. A different time, a different place. Your ass would be, or your head would be on a spike at the gates of the castle right now. So shut the fuck up and go do your prison time. Jesus. But his girlfriend and his sister and his mommy all asked the judge for leniency. Please look beyond everything that he did. Look beyond all the dead people. Look beyond all the damage. Look beyond what this member of our family did to destroy the image of America as the land of the free and the home of the brave in the eyes of the world, even though we're not that anymore. But so he gets his family to come out and cry and weep and wail before the judge. Oh, give me a fucking break. Oh. Well, so much for Mr. Tarrio. Now, of course, he will file his appeals, which he has every legal right to do. And I'm sure the courts in this country will ignore his appeals, as they have every legal right to do, until such time, God forbid, or somebody forbid, Satan forbid, or somebody forbid, that the orange vomit would somehow wind up in the White House again. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.